This project is called Photo Request from Solitary. It came out of the campaign called TAMS Year 10.
TAMS Supermax is a prison that was designed for sensory deprivation. A group of artists and I started the TAMS Poetry Committee. Many of them had been there the entire decade. Sending poetry and letters was a way to give the men there some social contact. One of the people said, I'd like to send photos to these guys. So I said, why don't we ask them what they want a photo of? A lot of guys ask for photos of themselves in some way. Most prisons have most prisoners online. So they wanted us to take their photo off the website and put them in a new scenario.
Specific places too often. Like I just want to see the shops that are at Flatbush Junction. Half of them are constructing a kind of fantasy. Family is a big one too, or like some representation of people that look like their family, like a mother, a grandmother, and 2 kids.
A few guys sent us photos of their family members and wanted those put in new photos. One guy's mother had recently died and he wanted a photograph of her in front of a mansion with money and a Hummer. A lot of us find the requests themselves to be fascinating to read and look at.
There's a request up right now. It reminds me of a Bosch painting. He's written spatially where things should be happening. Angels and devils in a prison yard. I think it's kind of brilliant.
A lot of these guys have been in prison, 20 or 30 years. They've missed out on a generation of imagery.
The irony of this entire project is that we live in an image-saturated culture where we're trying to figure out what to do about that. Yet at the same time, we're talking about a population of people who have access to no image.
Many of the people sent in solitary confinement are people who are already seriously mentally ill. They have trouble following rules in prison, and they break down in prison, and they're often not treated. So they're more likely to go into segregation, and then they break down even more. And their time in Supermax is just adding torture to a serious mental illness. Human beings evolved to be in relationship with other people. We use each other for reactions and to have sensory stimulation. So when that goes away, people no longer have reference points. Some of the guys with really sad requests and they didn't seem to have it together have schizophrenia and other mental illnesses.
In 1987, I took the life of a man without just cause, committing an act so monumentally wrong that I could not have argued that it was unfair if I had been required to pay with my own life. What nobody knew or suspected back then was that I would begin suffering a punishment that I am convinced, beyond all doubt, is far worse than any death sentence could possibly have been. The box is a place like no other place on planet Earth. It's a place where men full of rage can stand at their cell gates fulminating on the neighbor, or neighbors yelling and screaming and speaking some of the filthiest words that could ever come out of a human mouth. Last year, I finished my 25th consecutive year in solitary confinement. Life in the box is about an austere sameness that makes it difficult to tell one day from 1,000 others. The world turns, technology advances, and things in the street change and keep changing all the time. Not so in solitary confinement. I've never seen a cell phone except in pictures, in magazines. I've never touched a computer in my life, never been on the internet, wouldn't know how to get there if you sat me in front of a computer. And I can honestly say that there is nothing I see looking around right now that is different from what I saw when I first arrived. If you manage to escape it yourself for a time, there will be plenty around and others for you to sense. And though you'll be unable to look into their eyes and see it, you might hear it in the nighttime when tough guys cry not so tough tears. I've seen minds slipping down the slope of sanity, descending into insanity, and I've been terrified that I would end up like the guys around me that have cracked and become nuts. Sometimes the prison guards find them hanging, blue. Sometimes their necks get broken when they jump from their bed. I felt like I was on an island surrounded by vicious sharks, flanked on both sides by mentally ill inmates who would splash their excrement all over the cells, all over the company outside their cells. I have went days into weeks that seemed like they'd never end without being able to sleep more than short snatches before I was shocked out of my dreams and thrown back into a living nightmare by the screams of sick men who have lost all ability to control themselves, or by the banging of cell bars and walls of these same men. It's a sad thing to watch a human being go insane before your eyes because he can't handle the pressure that the box exerts on the mind. But it's sadder still to see the spirit shaken from the soul, and it is more disastrous.
We have to come up with all kinds of solutions. It can be creative, it can be critical, it can be advocacy, that there is that potential.
After about 17 months, Governor Quinn hired a new chief of corrections, and this January, Governor Quinn closed the prison.
There's no way to make the experience of solitary confinement better through visuality. It's a part of ethics and citizenry to do something about it.